Hi, my name is Jacob and welcome to another episode of Raw and Uncut on the Abrasive Conversations platform. Today I want to speak about the tragedy that happened last weekend at a tavern in East London. 20 young people lost their lives last weekend at the Enyobeni Tavern in East London. The causes of the death at this particular time is not certain, but this is not the point of this particular Raw and Uncut session today. But before I jump into this particular Raw and Uncut session, I want to share my condolences with the families who lost loved ones during this particular tragedy. My prayers and my heart are with you. Those that are survive, thank God that you survive, and I hope that this type of incident are not happening again. So, by the aim of this particular short Raw and Uncut section is to talk about taverns in black and colored neighborhoods. I personally grew up in a neighborhood where there was a tavern in the middle of our neighborhood. Apart from that specific tavern, there was also many smokelaars or shebeens, as it's otherwise known, where people could buy alcohol. And the thing is, if reflecting, there's a series on my website called My Escape from Poverty, where I reflected how was I able to escape from poverty. And my answer to that specific question is that I never succumbed to the pressure of consuming alcohol or drinking alcohol. I early on in my life, I realized that alcohol is the thing that is literally destroying our family and that is keeping our family in poverty. So I make a vow to myself is that I will never consume alcohol or drink alcohol in the ways that people are drinking alcohol. So my aim simply was to abstain from alcohol and don't drink alcohol. And that have helped me. It helped me to escape poverty. My family members and people around me are not that lucky because many of them succumb to alcoholism and many of them are alcoholics. And this particular segment is not to cast shame on them, but to explain why they succumb to alcoholism and alcoholics. If you're not aware of it, some of the earliest form of payment in South Africa was actually through alcohol. So many slaves and later many freemen, Khoi, and even black people in South Africa, part of their salary was paid with alcohol. So part of their salary was paid in alcohol, meaning that they become dependent on alcohol and systematically slip into alcoholism and become alcoholics. The problem with it is it creates a generational curse because if we look at how work is set up on farms, then you will see that on farms it's generation after generation that is living on its farms and that is addicted to alcohol. Later on missionary societies and in towns, you see the same type of trend, that the people, a part of their salary was paid with alcohol. And what you find, and on what they name this actually in Afrikaans is the dopstelsel. In English is the tot system. And what happens is, so it's not just men that is drinking, that is also women that is drinking. So when women who are drinking while they're pregnant, the fetus become and let me say an alcoholic, and it underdevelops the brain. So literally what happens is a child is born with fetal alcohol syndrome, and it makes them not functional within society. They're functional, they're normal, but the brain doesn't operate as quickly in some cases as other people. So what happens is that you create the system where people are constantly dependent on alcohol. So the system of colonialism, which used it as a payment system, literally set up black colored people to kind of alcohol dependency, but also to set them up for poverty in a larger society of South Africa. So with that being said, the disturbing trend for me in post-apartheid South Africa, and even during apartheid, the most disturbing thing is that in every, let me generalize, every colored and black neighborhood you will find a tavern. And this particular tavern is a spot where people during the weekend has the best times of their lives. And what happens here is that a lot of people who have is wage labor, we find in weekly wages, this is where they spend most of their money. So there is never enough money for food, clothes, and schooling. And what this happens is that it creates another generational curse of poverty. So where the money is supposed to go towards children, the school, or just the general wealth and caretaking of the family, it goes towards that particular tavern where people have the nicest times of their lives. So this is where I want us to think about the future of taverns in our current neighborhoods. Do you think that it has a place in our current, especially black and colored neighborhoods? Do taverns have a place in black and colored neighborhoods? Do they fit there? And why are they there? Why is it legal to have a tavern in the middle of a neighborhood, but you don't see the same type of things in your more middle class neighborhoods, or even your so-called white neighborhoods? You don't find a tavern in the middle of those neighborhoods. You find a tavern in the most poorest of neighborhoods, where it's destroying the lives of people that have so little for them going. So with this being said, if Bheki Cloete or someone close to Bheki Cloete are watching this, I think the one thing that you have to do is to make it illegal to have shebeens or taverns in neighborhoods. I think it must not feature anywhere on the spectrum of neighborhoods or the future system of South Africa. There must not be taverns in neighborhoods. There must be no shebeens. There must be designated places where people can buy and sell alcohol. I personally, as I mentioned in the beginning of this segment, is that I don't consume alcohol, and up until today I am strongly against alcohol, because if we remove the alcohol and all of the alcohol places in our neighborhoods, even if we just ban alcohol in South Africa, the consumption of alcohol, I think many people will have much more money for different causes, and I think we'll be a much better society without alcohol. But that's my bias. However, we can pass a law that prevent taverns and shebeens in our neighborhoods, where it destroys the lives of families, young people, and creates a generational curse. So I think that is what Bheki Cloete can do in the coming months. Make it illegal for taverns in our neighborhoods. Once again, my condolences go out to the families affected by this tragedy in East London. It's my prayer that God do something to your pain. I know it's difficult, but I hope that we will get through this particular event. But hopefully this will give us introspection and prevent future incidences like this happening. Thank you for watching. Until we see each other again, may God bless. Bye-bye.